everyone, welcome to CG Spotlights. My name is Liz Tra. This is the show where I bring on amazing artists and talk about why they're passionate about art and why they create the pieces that they create. Today I'm bringing on one of my closest friends, Rouhani. Rain is a very, very talented 3D generalist and character artist. Rain does it all from 2D all the way through into 3D. She's so passionate about what she does. She's so humble and talented and wonderful. I'm so excited for you guys just to be a sponge today and grasp any information that she shares with us. So thank you guys for tuning in, and let's watch.
Well, hi, Rain. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you want to talk a little bit about who you are and where you're at currently in the industry?
Sure. First off, hi, and thank you so much for having me. This has been very exciting to know that I can talk with you here. So my name is Rain Rouhani. I graduated from Noman School of Visual Effects as a CG generalist, and I specialize in character art both in 2D and 3D, and I also do visual development.
Cool. What would you say is your favorite aspect of CG Pipeline?
That's a hard question. I think I really enjoy sculpting, but I also really enjoy like coming up with idea and brainstorming and everything like that. That's like the visual development side I really enjoy. But at the same time, modeling, definitely enjoy that a lot.
So the main, I guess, piece that I'm bringing you on for today is your vulture lady, who I'm actually realizing, does she have a name?
She doesn't. I just call her the vulture lady.
Okay,
I came up with some names, but I decided that I want to keep it just vulture lady instead of labeling it a certain name.
Did you always know she was going to have a vulture, or was that kind of like a concept?
So when I started, I sketched it out first in my sketchbook, and then I was like, oh, it's gonna have a bird. Left it at that. And then we're going to talk about where I end up being like, no, I think it should be a vulture. But it was not right away. It took a minute.
What was like your initial inspiration for this piece?
The initial inspiration was I definitely wanted to show a character that is very strong and powerful, like a female character that is very assertive and like confident. So that was the original idea and what I wanted to show. But then the whole thing was like, how do I make this a certain amount of like originality? It's hard to be original, especially nowadays. So
yeah.
I was like, well, vulture sounds pretty cool. Like vultures in animations are a lot of time viewed as like a little bit of silly or a little bit like not the most intelligent necessarily character. And a lot of times like other birds, like let's say like an eagle. And I was like, no, we're gonna go on vulture and we're gonna change it up.
I love that. I mean, you talked a little bit about originality and how difficult that is. And I struggle with that a lot, especially with stylized characters, because I feel like there's like a certain way to do it right in a way that like people have seen a Disney movie, they know what a Disney character is supposed to look like. Do you think that's something that's difficult for you or comes naturally or something you've grown in?
I think it comes more naturally now, but it came from studying the art of other artists and getting inspired and like really like pausing the frames of every movie that I was interested in and be like, how did they approach this? Anything from style to design choices to shape languages and like using that later on in my work and basically making it a mix between a little bit of myself plus the styles that I really admire to making it a bit like my own work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Are you looking more at like, I don't know, animated stuff because most of your stuff is more stylized, or do you think you find like inspiration in a mix of different genres?
I find creativity in mixture of genre, but specifically for my art pieces, definitely like everything. I even like certain video game really inspire me, or films, or even like sometimes I just go to a museum and I'm like, wow, this is super cool. Or like the way certain brush strokes are, I'm like, I can utilize that somehow in certain textures or something. So yeah, it comes from everywhere. But if I am inspired a lot by necessarily, let's say like animated film, I really dissect it like frame by frame.
I love that. What's your favorite animated film? I don't know if I know this about you.
Man, this is a hard question. Let's see.
I've definitely asked you this before. I just don't remember your answer.
Let's see. I have so many favorite ones. Man, this is hard. I really like Soul. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I really like Soul. I really like Zootopia. I really like How to Train Your Dragon. Love that movie. And I love all of them. Like I like all the How to Train Your Dragon movies. Just
Yeah.
amazing.
You know they're making a live action one, right? Have we talked about this?
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It actually looks pretty sick. I'm excited. What would you say is the hardest thing that you had to deal with during this piece, or how did you grow while you were working?
Yeah, I definitely think that one of the most difficult part and challenging part of this project was more the technical side, because I was trying different software and sometimes even softwares that I didn't use prior to this piece. Like Mari for the skin, I normally use Substance Painter, but this time I was learning Mari with Tran Mo, which is an amazing instructor at Newman, and Jackson Lucas, who mentored us with the grooming. So definitely the technical side with like the skin and the hair, those were all new to me. I had to learn how to make realistic skin, but at the same time know what's the balance between realistic and stylized. How much do I dial back from realism to make it read properly and stylized? I looked a lot at references. I looked at movies from, again, Disney, Pixar, and see how much detail do they use in their skins.
How far like percentage do you think you push it? Like if there's like super stylized to like extremely like realistic, like where do you think it falls for you?
I think if you zoom into the character, this one is one of the most detailed character I have. So I think it's a little bit more, I don't want to call it realistic, but more towards realism than a lot of my pieces are.
Because you have all like the pore detail and stuff like that.
Yes, I have all the different roughnesses. I have pore detail. I even have certain skin variation or even moles.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more realistic because all of it was using like realistic skin textures that we will find like XYZ textures and everything.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to be able to dial back.
One thing I admire so much about you and who you are as an artist is that like, wow, like a lot of CG generalists can do the whole pipeline from modeling to texturing, lighting, rendering, compositing, all of it. You even start prior to all of that, and you get to do your own concepts and create like your own work out of your own just like ideas and just creativity. How do you come up with the concepts that you've used so far? Are you just seeing something and drawing it, or you're just inspired to wake up in the middle of the night? Like kind of what's your process with creating your concepts and bringing it into 3D?
Yeah, I think my process is a lot of trial and error, a lot of sketching, a lot of like figuring out what has been done prior. Like if I'm doing, let's say, a character that has a sword, I want to know how many characters that have a sword that are important in the movie, how were they done, what type of clothing was it used in that. So studying the topics that I'm doing, getting creativity, sketching a lot.
Where's your like go-to sketch spot? Like ideal, like you're in a creative block and you need to go somewhere to sketch. Where do you go?
Cafes.
Cafes. Okay.
Yeah, I just really enjoy the presence and the life happening around me. It helps. Like just even if I'm not creative, I can always just draw people, and from that the creativity just comes, you know.
So you'll
like,
draw the people like around you?
Yeah, I love doing that. And sometimes that just sparks the creativity in ways that you don't expect.
I love that. People watching. Maya or ZBrush?
ZBrush.
Sculpting humans or creatures?
Both, but I prefer humans.
Okay. Realistic or stylized?
Stylized.
There you go. Personal concept or somebody else's concept?
Ooh, that's very hard. Both.
Okay, fine. Tablet or mouse?
Tablet.
Toy Story or The Incredibles?
Oh man. Toy Story?
Okay. All right. Sketching on your iPad or sketching on paper?
Sketching on paper.
Ooh, okay. I thought you were gonna say iPad. Okay, my last question for you is what words of advice do you have for any artists who have creator's block or just feel like they don't have passion for their work right now? Like what advice would you give?
If you don't have passion for your work, that's a different matter. But
Okay, fair.
put it up like creativity wise, if you feel like blocked, there's 3 advice I have. The most important one is don't be hard on yourself. Genuinely just take it easy, take a step back. If you're able to take a day off of this project, do so. Sometimes you have a deadline, and when you do have a deadline and you're like, I can't afford not to work on this thing, I will go to people you look up to, like friends or supervisor or somebody around you that know about this or that they just inspire you, go talk to them, because that helps a lot. Just hearing their feedback, or even just look around, just see at other people you look up to. Like I look up to your work. When we were working together, I remember I would be like, wow, this is like doing great. And that would like fuel me. I was like, man, I gotta create, you know? So if you're feeling creative block, yes, if you can, take a step back. Second, if you are under a tight deadline and you need to finish your project, get inspired by people, get their feedback, and see. Sometimes they find a way to break through your problem. And the last one is really good to jump sometime from a project you're working on to something else. And if you don't have several projects, it is good to jump to another area of your project. For example, I am sculpting my character and I'm dealing with, I feel blocked, it's not original, the shapes are not working for me. But this character is, let's say, holding a candle. Then I will go and texture that candle, or I will texture something that is already ready. I will jump to another part of my project and give myself a rest from sculpting necessarily. You know, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. I think that's
Yeah.
so important. Like in some form, stepping away. Even if you still have to keep working, it's like, I'm not gonna be working on this one thing that's like bothering me. I remember there were even like times I'd be like so into my work, especially during school, where I'd just be like hours on one thing and I'm like, this looks absolutely horrible. And I'd like get up and go get dinner and come back and I'd be like, oh wait, no, that actually looks good. Why was I so upset about this? You know, just trying to like get your eyes off of it for a moment.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yes, that's a good one. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for doing this.
you
Thank you for
too.
coming on and chatting for a second. Seriously, like I'm so excited to see what comes next for you. You are such an incredibly talented artist. It's going to be really great. So excited for people to see
Thank
this.
you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it.